eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you.
This is my desire to honor you, Lord, with all my heart. I worship.
Good morning, Pastor Larry here. It's Memorial Day, 2020, and just wanted to give our devotions for today. We're still in the Beatitudes, and we're in verse 8 today. The Bible says this in Matthew chapter 5, verse 8, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." Yesterday we had I believe, a good service. The Lord really spoke to my heart in the message, and I don't mean that to sound prideful. I honestly do not. I hope you know my heart. God convicted me of some things, and I hope that God worked in your heart as well. When we're coming off of being poor in spirit and letting God's Spirit be what we yield to in our lives, and when we understand that we need to be sin sick, that means sick of the sin in our lives and the wreckage that it brings, and then that gives us a sight of who God is and who we are in light of who God is, and gives us a meekness and a humility. And then we get filled by the righteousness because we hunger and thirst after it. We set aside time to let God speak to our hearts, whether it be in His Word or with godly music or with the preaching or with fellowship. And then it said, we looked at the merciful yesterday, being merciful, and it's when we obtain mercy. It's when we understand how God has been merciful for us. We have no choice but to be merciful to others and to show that same mercy. And so then, we're here at verse 8 where it says, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." And yesterday we talked about this undevoted devotions. And for me to just go through the motions of some spiritual act and think that I'm going to see God is that is pride, and that is vain. It's not a spiritual act. It's not some, it's not some duty of mine to try and be pure in heart. It's simply the closer I get to the truth, and that is the Lord Jesus Christ. And we said this yesterday, that you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. The closer I get to the truth, the more pure I become. The closer I am to Christ, the closer I get to Him and yielding to His Spirit, the more pure I become. And we talked about this, having a devotions that means something that's real, and how crazy it is that we're here in verse 8. And I don't mean crazy. I don't believe God does coincidence. And here we are in verse 8 talking about the pure in heart. And I hope that after yesterday's message, you at least had some desire to see God in your life. And see, that comes with a purity in heart. And now the purity comes from us being merciful to others, and we're merciful to others because we hunger and thirst after righteousness and let God fill us, and we do that because we have a meekness. We know who we are in light of who He is, and we're sick of the wreckage that sin has brought in our lives, and we're yielding to the Spirit of God in our lives, and this makes us have a more pure thing. I love Brother George Griffiths has said for years and years, with the kids, it's easier to get someone to laugh the more pure their heart is. The less distracted we are by sin, by self, by society, the more pure our heart can be. And it's in that purity, it's when we're almost back to that innocence state, before we really knew sin, that we can have that purity and see God and have those intimate moments with Him. And God desires to have those intimate moments with you. You want to be happy? Be pure in heart. How do you be pure in heart? We've already discussed it. You got to be yielding to the Spirit, sin sick of self. You have to be meek. You have to hunger and thirst after righteousness. You have to show mercy. And then, when you're seeking God, you're going to see Him. I hope you see God today. I hope you have a happy Memorial Day. Thank a vet today. And I thank all those that have served. You have a blessed day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
To worship you, Lord.